What's up, friends? Welcome back to the re-recording of the castle build. Had so much fun building it the first time. I'm going to build it again for you so you can follow along if you had to jump off the call or if anything happened. We are going to dive right in. The castle build has 4 bags. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to open them one bag at a time. Now, if you already did part of the build and you want to fast forward to your bag, I'll be sure to hold up on the screen for a few seconds the number of the bag we're doing. So this is bag 1. It's going to look like this. See that finger? Don't count that one, just the one. This is bag 1, and we're going to dive in right now. Cool. I hope I remember that for all 4 bags, or else that makes me an untruthful person. So here we go with bag number 1. We are going to start with our 4x6 plates. Now, we are going to connect our 2 4x6 plates with a very, very cool piece with this little swivel hinge. Now, when we attach the swivel hinge, it's important that the little bump or elbow points the proper way. So we want this little bumpy elbow to be facing us, to face toward ourselves, not the screen, unless you're a screen, in which case, welcome to the build. I think the AI thing happened. Let's hope they come in peace. So we got the bump facing toward me, and I have 2 4x6 plates connected. Cut. Just kidding. We're going to keep rolling. Just like that, the bump is facing towards me, a 4x6 plate here, and a 4x6 plate there, 2 studs connecting to this hinge. Now, we're going to add plate to build up this level. The way we do that is we've got a 4x4 plate. Nothing is going on top of our hinge, just on top of our 4x6s. Now we've got glasses. And then 2 2x3 plates, 1 on each side. Just like that. As you can see, the elbow is still facing toward me. And now we've got these 2 2x2 openings. So I got just the piece, a 2x2 plate right in there. So now we have 2 plate high surfaces, and we're totally even. No bumps, no dents. Now I had a couple seams that weren't totally seated, so I'm just going to go around with my fingers and make sure to seat them properly. Okay, now what we're going to do is we are going to add a 2x4 tile. That looks like this. It's the same height as a plate, but unlike a plate, this one has no studs, no bumps. And that piece, I'll flip this around, is on the edge, so it's right up against it, and it's a pair of studs, a stud on each side, in from the sides. And then on the other side, almost a mirror, but a little bit different, because we're not putting a tile on this side. On this side, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 jumper plates. So here are our jumper plates, and the orientation of the jumper plates is very important. So watch how I put them on. I'm putting them on so the plates are sitting long ways. I'm not stacking them all in like this. Boom, 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 boom. Not like that. I'm putting them on like so. And these 2 sections are going to allow us to add 2 very cool features to our castle at the very, very end of our build. We're doing our future selves a favor by making a little pocket, a little staging area for some really cool things later on in this build. The other thing that we're doing is we're kind of setting the frame, because this is the interior of the building, because the exterior is going to get a bunch of 1x2 bricks. Now, inside your bag, there's a bunch of different types of 1x2 bricks. There's the beveled brick or a palisade brick. Very cool. There might be a brick with a vertical slot in it. You feel free to drop it on your keyboard. It's pretty fun. I'll probably do it, I don't know, 14 more times. And then there's one of the coolest bricks in the entire Lego library, the masonry brick. And this brick is a horizontal slot in one side, and then the other side, a really cool masonry profile. So it looks like an actual brick. Some people call these bricks. So what we're going to do is we're going to use those kind of interchangeably. Please note there is one other type of brick, which is a 1x2 brick with a Technic axle holder in there. These are specific. We're going to use these for a very specific job. The other bricks can kind of be used interchangeably, and we're going to use them right now. So we are going to, let me get the elbow pointing back at me. We're going to go all the way around the perimeter with those 1x2 bricks. Kind of any style, any combination you like, but we're going to do one layer. Let's see. So there's one layer, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way around. And now we're going to do one layer on this side. Same. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, almost grabbed one of the plus sign bricks. Now, you may notice that the way those 1x2 bricks line up, there is not a single seam that is not broken. We want to break the seam at every single layer. Breaking the seam makes sure that we are building in a strong fashion, and it's going to give us a very strong, sturdy build. If we're not breaking our seams, we've got these long seams that run all the way up a wall, it's much, much easier for our builds to fall apart. We don't want that to happen. So we've got our various 1x2 bricks all the way around. Fantastic. Now what we're going to do, my friends, is we're going to incorporate this brick. It's a 1x1 brick with a clip on the side of it. Now watch, I've got the elbow pointing back at me, and when I put these bricks on, they go on the very edge, closest to me, and the clips stick out to the side. They don't point into the building, they don't go in the direction of the wall, they're not pointing at me, they're pointing off to the side. So I'm going to do one on my right side, go across our build, and one on the left side. Cool. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in these very, very cool window pieces. And these window pieces, of course, are not going to just stand right on top of a single 1x2 brick. We're going to continue to break our seams. So we put it in the exact middle of one side of our castle, and then we put it in the exact middle of the other side of our castle. Fantastic. Now, when it comes time to flanking those windows, we're going to add that special brick. That's right, the 1x2 brick with the plus sign. So these are going to go on either side of our windows. Cool, looks like that. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 gaps left over. A 1x2 gap on the outsides, and then a 1x3 gap on the insides. Well, we've got the perfect pieces for that. We've got a 1x3 brick for this area right here, nice and level, and then we'll fill this in with our remaining 1x2 bricks, all nice and level, except of course for our windows, because those are taller, and we are going to use these awesome arch pieces to sit right on top of those. Now, it can be a little bit tricky sometimes to line them up properly. So just give it a little wiggle. It doesn't need a huge squeeze. I don't want to hurt your finger. Don't want to collapse the whole thing by pressing too hard. But if you give it a little wiggle, a little squeeze, you should be able to seat it just fine. And whenever you have a build that moves, it's smart as you go just to continue to explore that range of motion. Make sure nothing is sticking out, nothing is interfering with the movement in your build. And that, my friends, is a wrap on bag number 1. So I am going to hydrate. I'm going to throw up a peace sign for bag number 2. I'm going to hold it there for a minute because I'm a truthful person and I have a memory. And I'm going to have a sip. It's not a peace sign to say goodbye. It's a visual marker that we are diving into bag number 2. So here we go. Bag number 2 has loads of gray pieces and some of these 2x6 plates with open with little openings. And we are going to use this bag to complete our walls and then to build the base of the 2 towers that stand on top of our castle to protect us. This castle has a lot of defensive features, as a matter of fact. A lot in it to help keep us safe, to protect our goodies, to protect our data, if you will, and I think that you will. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to add another pair of 2x2s, or sorry, 1x2s. So we're going to add 1x2s here, 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 and here for a total of 8. So you can grab your selection of 1x2 bricks, many of the same pieces. Once again, we've got our masonry bricks, we've got our palisade bricks, and possibly some slotted bricks. No more bricks with the plus sign in them. We've already used those, so you may use these however you like. You know, a lot of old castles were kind of built by using whatever stones were around, and some stones were very old and very weathered and very aged, and some stones might be new and polished. So I like castles that look like, you know, they've seen some things. If they're still standing, it means they're well protected. Doesn't mean that they're scar free. Okay, get that in there. Okay, cool. So we just added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more 1x2s. We can give our build a little move. Still feels great. Awesome. Now, my friends, you might be feeling like the movement is a little wobbly, not quite strong enough. Now, this swivel hinge we used in the very beginning is one of my favorite pieces. But you know what's better than a single swivel hinge? A pair of swivel hinges. So that's right, my friends. We're going to bring in another one, and we are going to orient this one identically to the one we brought in before. Give it a little squeeze and put that. So we got one at the very low level. We added 3 levels of brick. And boom, now it's swivel hinge time once again. And immediately, once you add that second hinge, I'm sure you're feeling much, much sturdier, much, much stronger. Cool. Now, since we're using plates in these hinges and not bricks, we've got to add some more plate to that area so we get back up to our regularly scheduled program, if you will, our regularly brick-heighted level. So we're going to drop in these rounded 1x2 plates. There's one. And there's another one. Right in there. And now we're going to stack a pair of 1x2 plates on top of them. I'm sorry, 1x4 plates. 1x4 all the way across there. And we're doing this again, of course, to break our hinge, to solidify the connection of it, and to lock it in there. And of course, to get back to our nice flat level. Now, as you're doing your own builds, when you incorporate plate, yes, it allows you to add some detail. It allows you to do myriads of things where you can bring in different cool pieces and brackets and build sideways. But it's very important to kind of keep your levels level. It's so important we said it twice. So that's why we're adding those additional plates. Now you might be saying, look, Adam, this isn't level, this is lower. We're going to fix that right now. So just like we stacked our swivel hinges, we're also going to stack our 1x1 bricks with clips. And this now, 1, 2, 3, on our 4th brick level, we are also going to put them right over our ones that were on the 2nd level. And the same orientation. I'll flip around so you can see. We're still sticking straight out to the side. Not toward ourselves, not toward you, not inside the castle, off to the side. We've got a pair of 1x3 openings right now, and we've got a pair of 1x3 bricks to fill those openings. Snap that in, give it a close, and now look, level as Aaron Neville, as they say. I don't think anyone has ever said that. I mean, he seems like a pretty level-headed guy. His earring, pretty sweet though. Shout out to all my Aaron Neville fans. Now we are going to bring in our 2x6 plates with the perforated holes. Now these holes don't do a whole lot for us, pun always intended, but I thought these were really cool. And these pieces are going to go from one side of our castle to the other. So far we've just been building these kind of floating walls. There's been nothing to lock them together. But now that the right side of our wall is connected to the left side of our wall, they're instantly much stronger. So you can see how those are laid out. Remember, the bumps of the hinges are still facing me, and the 2x6 plates are on my side. They're not on the exterior, they're on the interior, if you will. Now what we're going to do is pay attention to the corners. 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 corners, not to be confused with bag number 4, that's why I wiggled my fingers and only kept my hand up there for a moment, are going to go a 2x2 plate in each of those corners. This is going to help us kind of finish up that level, add some additional stability and create a space to drop in some pretty cool pieces. Now, the first pretty cool piece we are going to add is actually going to be a satellite build. It's satellite build time. Now, we've just been adding pieces and pieces and pieces to our primary build. A satellite build is when you do a little build off-site and then bring it back in to the primary build. So we are going to do a pair of satellite builds. And here is how they're going to go, my friends. These are going to be comprised primarily of slopes. Now, we've got these 2x2 inverted slopes. You know, they slope upwards, not downwards. So we're going to take one of them, and then on top of it, we're going to take two more and have them slope up and off to the sides to make this cool parapet, maybe? Embattlement? I knew so many castle terms. I really brushed up on my castle terminology, but they've been a little bit scrambled in my head. So apologies if those weren't, 100% also. Don't sue me. And then we're going to break the seam and put a 2x4 plate all the way across the top. So that is one of these creations. We're going to make a second one. So again, we take our 2x2 inverted slope, and on top of that, we put another pair of 2x2 inverted slopes. So they're pointing off to the side. And then on top of that, boom goes the dynamite, goes our 2x4 plate. So we've got a pair of them like so. Cool. Now these pieces are going to connect where the plates are not. So there's an opening on both sides. So let's gently bring those in. Voila. Like so. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Adam, there's a hole in the ceiling. That's not very secure. Well, there's a bunch of them. But that one's kind of bigger. That one maybe a minifigure could sneak their way through if their head went on a diet. Well, we are about to close that gap right now. And the way we close that gap is by taking these double slopes or corner slopes, and we're going to make a teeny tiny little tower. And the way we make our teeny tiny little tower is by putting a remaining 1x2 brick, whatever you have left over, right on top of it. Kind of looks like a retro robot foot or something. And we're going to make a pair of those. So, retro robot feet. I'm going to open up my castle. I'm going to put my finger on the bottom to have some counter pressure. And I'm going to bring that piece, boop, in like so. And I'm going to do the same thing with this side. A little retro robot foot, or RRF, as I'm sure you've all already abbreviating it. Boom. So now our little towers are coming together. We also have these 1x4 half tiles, half plates? Funky jumper plates? I don't know the official name of these, but they're very, very cool pieces because they give us a little bit of sleekness, but they also give us a couple studs that we can decorate later. So we're going to put two on each end. And I went with the light and the dark in a row. If you want to scatter them, go for it. But that, my friend, is a wrap on bag number 2, which means it's time for me to have a sip of water. It's also time for me to hold up the 3 fingers to indicate that we are on bag number 3. Bag number 3. And what a bag it is. Lots and lots of fun decorative pieces in here, and some pieces to help us finish the top of the tower. Our final bag is going to have our minifigure, some flags, some final touches, and remember a million years ago when we talked about the fun stuff that gets to go inside the castle? That's going to be in bag 4 as well. But enough about bag numero 4. Let's stick to bag number 3. So the first thing we're going to do with bag number 3 is take our open 4x4s. Now, with our open 4x4s, we are going to use these beveled corner bricks, and we're just going to go all the way around the top of them. Now, if there is a piece that shouts castle more than these pieces shout castle, I haven't seen them. So I put 1, 2, 3, 4 on top of this one. And I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4 on top of this one. Here we go. Awesome. Now, these are going to connect our two little mini satellite builds, our two little towers that we built before. But before we do that, on one of them, we are going to put in some jumper plates. And I'm going to put in, we've all got a bunch of jumper plates. I'm going to put in these light bluish gray jumper plates. And the way we put them in is on top of our 2x4 plate. Now, you see that I'm putting them long ways. So their two studs are next to each other, not shifted, so it doesn't look like that. The reason we do that is this tower can have a minifigure guard standing in it. So whichever tower you want your guard to be able to stand in, you'll put in the jumpers, because those are going to go into the bottom of your minifigure's feet perfectly. Now that those are there, we can bring in our little 4x4 tower rebuilds that we just made. We've got 2 of them. Fantastic. And now, my friends, we can go all the way around our tower with these jumper plates. Cool. So around there with jumper plates, and then I've got jumper plates in this one, which is where our guard is going to stand. Well, my guard is going to stand. Your guard can stand wherever they like. Before we forget, let's insert our wooden shutters into our windows. Now, these pieces can be tricky to connect, but I'm going to show you a trick. I'm going to open up my castle and just focus on one side. I'm going to hold the door with the rounded edge pointing in, and I'm going to hold it about 2/3 up, or maybe 3/4 up. You see, I found these little bumps that grab the sides of it, and then I can fold it down, like so. I'll do it again to this side. I hold the door. Actually, this is a window. I hold the window, and the bumpy side, the rounded edge, goes in about 2/3 to 3/4 up. Give it a little wiggle. It finds those bumps and slides in just like that. Very secure, very strong windows, but don't worry, we have many other security features, because of course we do. Speaking of which, let's actually keep this open. Speaking of security features, nothing says secure like a firewall. So we're going to slide these little fire pieces in to our 1x2 bricks with axle holder from a long, long time ago. And you can have all your fire sticking the same way. You can have it a variety of ways. Whichever way is the right way. But that, my friends, is our firewall. Now, we've got a bunch of these green, beautiful Veeam green cheese slopes. And we're just going to use them to kind of decorate. Give our castle, that little extra castle feel. So I'm going to put these on those tile plates, half tiles, half plates that we attached earlier, and then I'm going to put a bunch up here. But on our towers, I'm going to leave one of the jumper plates open on each, because that is where our flagpole is going to go. And our flagpole shall stand high, and our flag will wave in the wind. Cool. And I'm probably going to have these slanted in. I think that looks cool to me, but if a different thing looks cool to you, then you do it your way. Now, you might have 4 pieces left over from this bag, because I was going to do a thing and I opted not to do it. So congratulations, you just have 4 random extra Lego pieces that you can use in another build, or give to your kid, or somebody else's kid, or somebody else's adult. Cool. Now, that's a wrap on bag 3. You're all doing so well. I hope you're enjoying this build as much as I am. I'm enjoying it a lot. Now, we're going to open up, you guessed it, bag number 4. I'm out of my regular water. So it's Topo Chico time. All right. And here's bag number 4. Now, bag number 4 has a few additional pieces to decorate, but most importantly, it has some very cool pieces for the inside of our castle. But first things first, let's build our minifigure. Our minifigure knight is ready to go. We've got these really cool legs. We've got various torsos. Look, I've got an office worker torso. What's an office worker doing in this castle? Well, you know what? When they suit up and protect themselves with the Veeam armor, they become a virtual knight. Bam, bam. And let's get this knight a shield. Now, I was looking for shields that had V's on them. They don't exist. These were the closest. You can flip it upside down. That looks more V-ish, but either way, that shield rules. And then remember, when we put those jumper plates down in there, now our knight can stand watch in the tower. And on those 2 jumper plates that we left open, we can take our 4L antenna, clip on our lovely green flags, and bring them in. Very satisfying snap. Just like that. Or maybe we'll have consistent wind. The wind is coming in from the east. There we go. Cool. Now I'm going to open up the castle and we're going to build our 2 fantastic little areas that go inside, our wonderful accessories. So one of our accessories is for our treasure, and much like the way we connected our windows, those wooden windows that came into the frame, that's the same way we are going to connect this door to our treasure box. And it can open up either way. You can open up on that side, or you can flip over the door and have your opening this way, whichever you prefer, as long as this little handle piece is on the outside, because that handle is very helpful to open it. Now inside, here's our goodies. We've got some rubies, maybe some garnets, and some gold bars. A spit hot fire, nothing but gold bars. Go in there. Close that up. Now the reason we put in those jumper plates all that time ago was because this is a 2x3 and this is a 2x4 opening. And we don't want it looking, kind of shabby off to the side, picking one corner. We want it directly in the middle. So to center this wonderful treasure box on our 4 wide area, we just use jumper plates and it does just the trick. It sits right in there. So cool. Now, we've talked about a good defense. That's important. Equally important, or possibly additionally important, extra important, is a strong offense. And that's where our other castle accessory comes in. We are going to start with a 3x3 plate. 3x3 plates, they didn't have those when I was little. They might not have. It's a relatively new piece. Now on this, we are going to add this fun little duck head. I don't even know what you would call this piece. It's a 1x2 modified plate with sideways pin holder. Not all the names are that catchy. I'm going to put it on just like that. So the pin holder is in the center and the whole plate itself is on the edge. So the plate itself is on the side, but the pinhole is kind of in the middle row, if that makes sense. Now, we've got a 2L frictionless pin, and our 2L frictionless pin is going to go into the bottom of our seesaw 2x4, which means it would just spin for days. But we are not making a seesaw. Making seesaws is very fun. I love a seesaw, but this is about having a strong offense. So once we connect our little frictionless pin into our seesaw piece, we can snap that on. And what does that look like? Yeah, That's right, it's a catapult. So, to protect our fingies when launching our catapult, we're going to put down this rounded 2x2 tile with a little hole to give us a little thing to aim at when we're hitting it. This is not the bullseye. This is our strike zone. And then we are going to use these corner panels, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, to make our little basket. So the part that stands up, the outside of the panel, if you will, we want on the outside to create a perimeter. So we have a little square basket. So each piece goes in to create a corner, 4 corners, make a square basket. Boom. And now we've got our tiny ballistics. We've got our translucent red rounded 1x1s that we can drop in there. And maybe don't launch them all at once because they'll just fly all over your office or wherever you are. Just maybe start off with one. That thing goes fast. So watch the eyes. Mind the eyes, I should say. So we're going to drop in our... And we don't have a jumper on this one because we don't want this to be connected. It's a little bit too tricky to remove if it's connected. So we use a tile and it just slides right in there. Now if you hold it sideways, there's enough friction, you know, it might slide out, it might stay a little bit, but hold it nice and level, and then we can close up our castle. Now we've got a multitude of security functionality to keep our prize, our data, our jewels, our gold bars, and our castle in general safe. But the final locks go on like this to keep our keep safe, our stronghold strong, and our castle castleified. These can come out by removing them or just by kind of sliding them over. And then you have access to your fun interior of your castle, of your creation. And that, my friends, is the build. Congratulations, you did it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for building along. Thank you for being you. I hope this was very helpful. I hope you enjoy your finished product. And I hope you display it proudly for years to come on your desk or on your shoulder or on your head. Can I balance it? Should I try for the win? Can I finish the video like this? No problem. Probably not. Too high of a risk. Great to see you all. Great to be seen by you. Take care. I will see you next time. Peace.